no difference. It makes no difference to me what color you are, and it doesn't make any difference to me really what religion you are, because our Constitution, our First Amendment, and our Bill of Rights gives you the right to worship any way you want. So if you want to stick your nose down in the ground, stick your ass up in the air, eat dirt, and pray to Mecca, knock yourself out, bud. I'll try to keep my German Shepherd away from your ass. Okay, I'll do my best. But don't expect me to get down on my knees. I prefer the words that Jesus gave us. I prefer the philosophy that Jesus gave us, and Jesus was the first religious rebel, wasn't he?
And I have to. I'm reading your chat board. And I have to agree with Max there. I don't think I know what I got myself into.
but I consider you the good. I consider you the good guys. You guys are doing work. You were trying to protect Christian. You're trying to protect our religion.
I'd hate to be on your bad side, like.
Yeah. Well, I did run. Abraham Foxman. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, not Abraham Foxman. I ran the head of Southern Poverty Law, Morris Dees, out of 4 towns by passing around his divorce papers to all of my readers while he was signing his books in those towns. So he's probably not real happy with me.
Oh boy. Well, I tell you what, it's refreshing for me to be on this program. I know we've got sidetracked so far, but that's okay with me, because whenever I do radio interviews, it's just talking points. You say the same thing, but I'm really appreciating your program, and you're doing the stuff that the mainstream media definitely won't touch.
Why don't they touch that? This is, to me, it's real simple. I took an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And there was no expiration date on that.
Yeah. Well, when you were talking about Waco there, I was just a kid when that happened, and all I remember was, what CBS told me. These poor. Government agents who were ambushed, when they were trying to ambush and everything. But, after reading into the story a little bit more, I realized, there is another story to this that they're not covering. And you're seeing that happening so much lately. And, you were talking about people accusing you of being racist and whatnot. And the race card has been pulled out so many times as of recently. It's just mind-boggling.
On the article that I've got up on my website about the NAACP, they're accusing me of being a bigot after I've had 3 wonderful black men. I've had Marcus on my show. I've had Pastor Manning on my show. Wonderful black men, smart, intelligent black men. I have come down on the so-called racist out there. Racists have infiltrated Christian identity, and they've tried to paint Christian identity as a bad thing. I know a lot of people that believe in Jesus, that follow the Christian identity type of logic and thinking. But these aren't bad people. They aren't. They're Christians. They're Christians. They just believe, and I don't have any problem believing that my ancestors thousands of years ago walked out of slavery, crossed the Caucasus Mountains, and became called Caucasians. However, I've told them, and I'll tell them publicly, and I've told them in articles, if you're referring to blacks as mud people, you're referring to Jews as kikes, you're referring to Chinese as chinks, you're referring to Mexicans as spics, then you are shooting yourself in the foot, and you make me look bad because I happen to be white too. I don't put up and won't put up with white racists. We all bleed red blood, and and there's as many black Christians out there as there are white Christians, probably.
And it's something that, again, reading on your chat board, half the victims at Waco were black. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, they were, and they were from all over. They were from France. They were from Australia. They were from all over, and you know, and the seven. I had one guy. I was working with a presidential candidate in 1996. Charles Collins was running for president in the Republican Party. We came out of a radio station, and somebody said, "Yeah, those people in Waco, those Branch Davidians got what they deserved." I said, "What did those 17 little children do to deserve what they got?"
Yeah.
But this is the press trying to convince you. Well, we had to go after Randy Weaver. We had to kill Vicky Weaver and Randy's son, you know. And in this ADL propaganda, they mention they bring up the guy that organized those raids on Waco and Randy Weaver, which was the first attack on patriots and attack on Christians here in this country. You know, Waco wasn't a compound, it was a church. It was a church, and it had been established in Elk, Texas. It wasn't Waco, it was Elk, Texas. It had been established there for 50 years. They had been members of the community for 50 years before David Koresh came in and took over. And you know, I don't know what David Koresh did. I don't know exactly what he was preaching, but you know, he wasn't doing anything, and those children weren't doing anything, and his followers of his church weren't doing anything to deserve what they got. But it keeps happening here. There were the raid on the Mormons, on the Mormon settlement there in Temple, Texas. They came in and tried to take all the children out of this Mormon church. They got them back. They got them back, and that's kind of faded to the sidelines. But isn't that? I mean, the same thing keeps happening here in America. This is an attack on Christianity, on Christians.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just scanning through your chat blog, and this is really refreshing to see. But you know, I can definitely see where, yeah, this is absolutely, you know, Christians are under attack all over the world, and for us CFIs, we're way up in northern Michigan. That's where our headquarters is. I
had to walk out. I had to walk out of the Uperland. My back went out while I was hunting up there. I had to walk out of there to try to get a plane flight out. That wasn't too bad. You know, if it hadn't been for that creek washing out the road to the hunting camp where I was, you know, it might have been a little bit more pleasant journey for me. But
oh yeah. You know, it's a great area, northern Michigan. But yeah, we are way up here in the UP. But you know, we're in a kind of a secluded area and everything. And I absolutely refuse to watch mainstream media. It just absolutely boggles my mind.
Well, now you know, they're really straight with you. I mean, President Obama, he was really straight with you. He told you he was a Soviet change agent. Oh, he didn't mention Soviet. He didn't mention agent. He just mentioned change. He just didn't tell you, you know, no thanks, Mr. Obama. We don't want that kind of change. Thank you anyway.
Fundamentally change.
Yeah, but you know, I've told people they don't call television programming for nothing. Now, you know, and let's go back to this whole thing of about 1 in every 31 Americans being in prison on parole, and 75% of them are in there for drugs. Drugs are victimless crime. CIA, I've proven and got the documentation that the CIA was bringing the drugs in to Albrook Air Force Base in Panama. So they're bringing if the CIA is bringing the drugs in, and they're turning on the poor blacks, getting them to sell it, like Ricky Ross there in Los Angeles, who kind of started the crack epidemic. They're giving it to them to sell. So if you get out of line, well, then you can bet your ass you'll get busted, because your suppliers are the government.